All right, folks, let's continue. In this section, we're going to be working with Active Directory sites and services. So let's take a look and see what's going on here. Watch this. So when I log on, everything is under the same site, right? Let's take a look and see. So I'm actually going to go to where? Tools, Active Directory sites and services, then sites. And look, I have the default first site name. See that? So I'm going to right click the default first site name, choose rename, all right, and call this NY. Then I'm going to create another site. So I'm going to right click sites, new site, and call this what? CT, using IP as a transport protocol. Then OK, and then OK. So now I have NY, right? And I have what? CT. But check this out. All the servers are actually under where? NY. So I have to right click on CT, move to CT, and move CTDC2 to what? To CT. So I just created the other site and I moved the domain controllers to the corresponding sites, right? Now, my next step is to configure the subnets. What network is each site on? I'm going to right click and choose new subnet and say, let's say New York is on the 192.168.100.0 network. See that? And then I'm going to say that Connecticut is on the 200 network, 192.168.200.0/24. And this is for Connecticut. Then okay, right? So look, the protocol that we're using is of course IP. Look at this. By default, there's a site link. A site link is like a line, a dedicated line between two different locations so they could talk to each other, right? And if I double click this, look what it says. All of them are actually in the site link. But if I wanted to create one manually, I could just right click and choose new site link. See, there's something called a bridge. We'll see what that is. And I'll say this is actually NYCT, and NY and CT is in the list. Then okay. And I could delete the default one. See that? If I double click this site link, I could actually change the schedule and say how often it's going to replicate from one site to another, right? But look at this. If I right click, there's a site link bridge. A site link bridge, I have to have at least three sites. Let's say I have NY, CT, and NJ, and I don't want to go from NY to NJ. I could use a site link from NY to CT, CT to NJ, so now I can connect from NY to NJ directly, just like an actual bridge, right? To save on bandwidth. But today you don't actually use that because internet is kind of cheap and speed is super fast. And this is not something common that you would use. For now, I have two domain controls on the each side. And guess what? I want to make sure all of them are actually global catalog servers. So when I properties, it is a global catalog, right? I'm going to make sure this one is also a global catalog server. So I'm going to put a check mark in the box. And same thing, I want to make sure I have at least two global catalog servers per a site. And I'm going to do the same thing on this one over here. I'm going to put a check mark in global catalog. See that? So I have two GCs per a site, and I specified the network. I created the site link. There is something called a BridgeHead server. If I don't configure a BridgeHead server, look at this. When I click on NTDS settings here, look, I could replicate from any domain controller. Imagine if I have 10 over here. Imagine 10 domain controllers replicating to all 10 domain controllers between NY and CT. No, I just want one main one. So I want to have all the domain controls in New York to replicate to one in New York, then only that one in New York will replicate to a main one in Connecticut. That domain control is called a bridgehead server. That's going to be accepting the replication. So internally, they could all replicate to each other, but externally, intersite, which is from one site to another, I just want the bridgehead servers to do the replication so I could minimize on bandwidth. How do I do that? Look, I'm going to make NYDC1 if I go properties here, right? So this server is preferred a bridgehead server, just like that. And if I go to CTDC1, this is also going to be the bridgehead server. And how can I prove that? Look at this. When I go into TDS settings here, I could replicate to all of them. So if I did everything right, this should be gone from the list, right? And CTDC1 should not see NYDC2. CTDC1 should only see NYDC1. NYDC1 should only see CTDC1, which is just the bridgehead server. NYDC2 should only see what? NYDC1. Okay. And that's how we could test replication later on. That's what a bridgehead server is. But I need to change the networks. I need to do routing. I need to set up also DNS on multiple servers because I want to have at least two DNS servers per a physical location. But if I go back to Active Directory users and computers, and I refresh over here, watch this, I could see the actual sites and I could see they're actually all what? Global catalog servers. So what I'm going to do in my next lecture is change the actual network, do routing, and then configure DNS and then test and forth replication. So we'll see you folks in another section in a moment. All right, for now, bye.